When?
Hello, KWRA. Welcome to a third part of our series of virtual presentations. You might recall our first presentation featured by Jennifer Sanders, and she presented to you all her own team listing presentation that she has adapted to a virtual presentation. And when you're in the business as long as Jennifer has been in the real estate business, and when you've done as many transactions as Jennifer has done, I think, what year was it, Jen, we were talking about? 2015. Jen closed 132 transactions. So that's a pretty strong basis for this is what I need, and this is what will help me do my business more effectively. So Jennifer, in the first session, shared her own personal listing presentation virtually and has also offered to make that any part of that available to you all. Last Monday, Jennifer Watkins presented this listing presentation beauty, which you all have available to you as KWRA associates at no charge. And Jennifer Watkins did a fabulous job walking you through how she uses consultation as her basis for her virtual presentation. Today, we are very pleased to have Jennifer Sanders back again. And Jennifer Sanders is going to take you through this beautiful piece and tell you how she uses that to do a virtual buyer consultation. So Jen, thank you, first of all, for being part of this great KWRA family.
You're welcome.
Huge asset to everyone who knows you and is part of this organization. And thank you for giving your time today, and not only your time, but your expertise and your brilliance. Thank you.
Thank you. You're so welcome.
Take it away.
Yeah, take it away. Okay, so Zoom buyer presentation, and Debbie, you will have to like chime in and just say yes or okay or whatever, you know, as appropriate for the buyer. You'll fill in the buyer side of things.
I will be the buyer.
Okay, because I'll get stuck if you don't. So the first thing I was going to show you guys is, let me do a little quick share screen. I think we talked about this a little bit on the first time that I did a Zoom meeting, and just some of the things to deal with ahead of time. Make sure you have pins. Make sure you have extra backup pins, because you have to walk out of the screen to get new pins. That feels weird. Have, like, you'll see I have a little, my Zoom background's doing weird things, but I have a cup of hot water because I have a little throat thing. Make sure you've got good lighting. If you want to choose a background, I can help you with that. Message me. Lots of people have great, like Debbie's office is great, so she doesn't need a background. I've got the door shut to my bedroom. I'm in a like a third bedroom in my house because my office was in the main part of the house and that wasn't working for this. And then I have the dog in another bedroom. So if you've got dogs, kids, all that stuff, like try to, you know, clear your space. And then the other thing is I have my Gmail turned off on my computer, like it's exited out. So hopefully stuff won't be popping up and distracting me as we go through the process. So all of that is the setup. So then when the buyer hops onto the Zoom, I am not going to show them this document that's over to the left here, this Word document. I'm showing it to you guys, and Tia can put it in our Facebook group for us. But this is just my sort of script, okay? Because when someone comes, anytime you're presenting a meeting, whether it's in office or, you know, one person, 5 people, in office, virtual, the first thing is when they come into the meeting, they're a little bit nervous and they're wondering why they're there and how things are going to go and that kind of thing. So I think the first thing that's most important to do is to put them at ease. So welcome them and put them at ease. And if anybody's super old in real estate like me, you might remember Floyd Wickman's Sweat Hogs, and he called that the safe island technique. Take them, when they come in, they're nervous and you need to take them to a safe island. So the first thing I would say is, Debbie, you know, thank you so much for joining me today. I know that your time is valuable, and so I want to make sure that you get a lot of value out of our conversation today. And I want you to know that because we're spending some time here on the front end, it's going to save you time on the back end. So we're going to dig in today and really make sure we understand your needs and that you understand the market, and that when you find the right house, you are very comfortable and very confident that you can make a good decision as quickly as you need to make sure we get you the great house. So thank you so much for being here. And then at that point, I would not be sharing my screen at that point. And Debbie would say, thanks for having me.
Thank you for having me.
Good job. And then I would say, Debbie, look, I do need your help on something because we're doing this on Zoom. And so that's a little different. I know it might be uncomfortable for you guys even to do this over video instead of in person. As we go through the process, I'm going to show you some things on my screen. And sometimes I've found that I don't quite hit the right button to do that. So if I'm telling you, hey, I'm showing you this picture and you're not seeing a picture, would you tell me that? Because I need to know if I'm not showing you what you need. Does that make sense?
Sure does. I'll be happy to.
Okay, good. So just let me know.
Okay.
So here's how the meeting today is going to go. The first thing we're going to talk about is your wants and needs. So just what's really important to you about the move. Want to make sure I have a good understanding of that and what type of house you're looking for so that we can get you the right house moving forward, okay?
Okay, that's great.
Okay. And then I'm going to walk you through the home buying process step by step by step. I'm going to answer any general questions that you might have about the real estate process. I mean, right now you might be asking yourself things like, can we even go look at houses? Are sellers even, letting buyers in? Has the market changed? So we're going to talk about general questions that you may have, including those types of things. And then I'm going to give you a sneak peek at the realtor database, which we call the MLS, so that you can see where we are getting our information. And also I want to set you up a personalized home search and show you the market so that you can see what homes are selling for. And again, be educated. And I want you, by the end of this conversation, I want you to be the expert in your price point and your location. Does that make sense?
Wow. Yeah, it really.
Okay. All right. And then the last thing we're going to do is talk about putting me to work for you. So if we get done today with this conversation, and I mean, obviously you guys chose me to, have this meeting with. So if at the end of the meeting we feel like, hey, we're a good fit and we want to move forward working together, then I'm going to tell you what that looks like and get a plan in place to move forward. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So can I share my screen with you and show you the document that I emailed you?
Sure.
Okay. Let me do that. Now, here's your first chance to tell me if I'm not sharing something to you. Hold on. So you should have it, and it should say buyer consultation on it, and you should recognize it because it came in your email. Is that what you're seeing?
I do have it, yes.
Okay, good.
That's on the screen. Thank you.
Yes. Good deal. All right, so I'm going to scroll down a little bit. I like to start at the back for what it's worth, because the most important thing that we want to talk about in the beginning is just what's important to you. So I'm just stepping out here. I won't make you answer all these questions, but at the first thing, once I do the Safe Island with the buyers, the first part of the conversation is going to be, let's talk about what's important to you. So I've already talked to you, Debbie. Are you going to be the primary contact, and what's the best way and time to reach you? What's prompting your move? What's important to you about that? What do you need in a new home? What areas are you looking for? And I'll say now, while we're talking, I'm going to write some notes down. So if you see me looking down, that's all I'm doing. I'm just taking notes so that I have all this information for you. So what's your price range? If we found a home today that met all of those needs, are you at the point where you're like, let's do it. Let's make an offer on that property. So that conversation is, I think that's probably the most important piece of this appointment, is being able to have that conversation with the people in the beginning. And then at that point, everybody's on the same page. Hopefully, if it's a single person, you've just got one of them on the Zoom, but if it's a couple, you've got both of them, and they're kind of turning to each other and going, I don't know, what do you think, honey? What do you think, honey? And it gives them the opportunity to figure out some things that maybe they didn't know that they even had questions to. It lets them talk about it, kind of like a counseling session a little bit, I think. So that's the first step. And then after I do that with them, I'm going to say, so let's walk through what the actual process of buying a home looks like. And you'll see this on your screen, and I want you to remember you have a copy of this in your email if you want to refer back to it later on. But we're here today at step 1, which is select a real estate agent, and that's me. So part of what we're doing today is you're interviewing me basically to make sure that I'm a good fit, that I'm who you want to have help you buy your house. And then we're going to talk about obtaining financial pre-approval. So you all told me that you were already working with ABC Bank. Can you send me a copy of your pre-approval, Debbie?
Sure, I'll be glad to do that.
Okay, good deal. And we'll analyze your needs in a buyer consultation. And that's a little bit what we just did, where we talked about, you know, that you want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in Jinx, and that you want your price point to be 180 to 200. We've already kind of covered that. And then we're getting into the fun stuff, which is we're going to view properties, select some to view, and then go out and view them. So let's talk about what viewing properties looks like today. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, I've been wondering.
Right. That's the big question. So it can look like a lot of different things depending on what you're comfortable with and what the seller's comfortable with, first of all, because every seller is different in their you know, where they are with this COVID-19. So my sort of guidelines that I have in place for my clients are this. We're going to look at all of the photos online before we even step foot in a house. We're going to look at all the photos online. We're going to look at the disclosures ahead of time so that you have all that information. I'm going to ask the listing agent if they have any videos or virtual tours or panoramic type photos that'll show you the layout of the house, because you know that's hard to figure that out on pictures. And so before we even step foot in a house, we're going to do that. And then you've got really 2 choices when it comes to stepping foot in the house. And the first one is that I can go out for you, or even the seller can go out for us and take a video of the house and do a video walkthrough. So right now I'm working with a couple who they have not seen the house in person. It's just how they chose to buy. They're actually in the military, and so they've bought and sold lots of houses that way already. So we did a video for them, walked through the house, just used Facebook Messenger on my phone and walked them through the house, let them look at it all. They were able to make an offer. We did inspections, you know, they did the appraisal, all of the normal things you get to do. You still get to check it out, and they're happy. They're getting ready to close. So that's one option. The other option is if you choose to do a physical showing, at that point, we can go out to the house. I'll make sure, you know, to remind you, bring your mask, bring your hand sanitizer. I always have wipes with me, gloves if you need them. So we do everything we can to make it as safe as possible. We ask the sellers to leave and have them turn all their lights on for us so we don't have to touch everything. And just make sure that everything is as safe as possible for everyone, for you, me, the buyer, and the sellers. Does that make sense to you?
It sure does. Thank you.
You're
well
welcome.
Thought out.
Little reassuring.
Yes.
And then once you find the right house, obviously the next step is to write an offer, right? So one of the things I promised you we talk about today is the market statistics, so that when you get to the point of writing an offer and negotiating those terms down here, that you are the expert on your house, that you know as much about that house and this market and that price range as anybody else that's out there, so you can make a really good decision. Then once your contract's accepted, that's where things kind of get not crazy, but a lot happens all at once. So on the left side over here, you and me are going to be working together to conduct inspections, resolve any issues with the seller. You with your lender are going to work on obtaining financing, and the lender will order the appraisal and a credit check and all the things that go into your loan. And then over here behind the scenes, the title company is going to do the title search for us to make sure that you've got clear title, all the back taxes are paid. There's just, you know, there's no surprises on the title to the house. Do you have any questions about that part of the process?
No, not at all. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. And then this is the fun part, where at the end you get the money, we go to closing, and you get the keys. That's the fun part. Usually here in the Tulsa area market, you get possession on the same day of closing. So get you right in there. I'm gonna let you cover this information. You read through this with your pre-approval information on your own, cover it with your lender. If you have any questions though about the loan process, make sure and bounce them off of me. I'll tell you the things that I know the answer to, I'll give you the answer to. If I don't know, I'll go find it or tell you to refer back to your lender for that, okay?
Okay.
And then I think at this point, the frequently asked questions are the most important things on buyers' mind. So my clients always want to know, how are you going to tell me about the newest homes available? And that's where we hop onto the MLS system. So give me just a second. Let me stop sharing and I'll hop onto there. Where are we at? There we go. See if it logged me off. Okay, so if I have you on the right screen, you're going to see a blue bar that says MLS technology at the top of it. Do you see that?
We're on your quick search.
Perfect. That's what we want. Okay, we're there. Good deal. Okay, so first of all, as we go through this, we're going to look for properties that match you, and then we're also going to talk about what's going on in the real estate market right now, okay? So I want you to see this number here at the bottom of the screen. Right now, there are 4,882 properties available in the Metro Tulsa MLS area, and this covers actually like a good portion of the east side of the state. So we're going to start narrowing it down by what you told me that you want. So let's talk again about city, and this is where I'll need you to remind me of what you're looking for. We said Jinx, right, for school district?
Yes.
Okay. So now we're down to 287 total properties available in Jinx.
Okay.
Now, what price range were we looking? Was it 225 to 250?
Yes.
So tell me this, when you guys have been looking for houses on your own, like, you know, on your cell phone at night, sitting on the couch, what price range have you been putting in?
We've been putting in 250 to 265, thinking we can make an offer.
Okay. So I'm going to put that higher price point in because I don't want to miss anything that you might be seeing, you know, on a different search application. But we're going to talk about the making an offer thing, okay?
Okay.
So here's 225 to 265, and I know you needed 3+ bedrooms, yes?
Yes.
So now we're down to 16 matches in Jinx. Was there anything else that was very important to you that would have been a deal breaker if the house didn't have it?
I'm not going to say deal breaker on 3 full baths, but on 3-car garage, that would be a deal breaker.
Okay. Here we go. So let me plug 3-car garage in.
Oops.
That takes us down to 1.
Oops.
So you guys might want to talk about that if that's really a deal breaker. Is it okay to go ahead and leave it at 2+, and then maybe, you know, I guess the question would be if the house only had 2-car garage, but like everything else about it was perfect, you think it's something you would consider?
No.
Okay, then we're going to leave it at 3+. But I want you to see that's the number of homes that are available right now. So what that tells me a couple of things. The first thing is there's not a lot of inventory, so we can't get too picky. The second thing is when something comes on the market that has a 3-car garage, what should we do? Like hop on it right now, right?
Yeah, right.
Go look at it.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, the second it comes on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I am going to show you.
So let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
Make it a 2-car because one house is not a lot in Jinx to go look at.
No.
Okay, now what happened? Okay, 16.
Okay, 16.
What happens? Because what I was going to say is we'd really like to have 3 full baths.
Let's see what happens when we do that.
Yeah. Okay, well that's better than 1. Yeah, that's better than 1. Okay.
So a 3 full bath but a 2-car garage might be a possibility for you if I'm hearing you right. I know.
Yes.
Right, compromises, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So then I want to show you some statistics just on those properties because we talked about that if you found something, how we would negotiate, right? What sort of offer you'd make on that property.
Yes.
So over here, I clicked pending properties and closed properties. So didn't change anything else. We're still the 225 to 265. You're still looking in Jinx, 2+ garage, 3+ bathrooms over here. In the last 6 months, I want to show you what has sold and what has gone under contract that is similar, that matches your search, okay?
Okay.
So right now, here's your 5 active. See those? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes. Here's
your 4 pending. So 4 have gone under contract or are currently under contract. And then it looks like 19, because there's 29 total, 19 sold in the last 6 months. So I want to look at how fast those are selling. That's important, don't you think?
Yes.
Let's see. Have you heard the term CMA? I'm going to show you comparables, basically. So realtors do what's called a CMA, or a competitive market analysis, a comparable market analysis. And that helps us to see what's going on in the market and what a home should sell for, if you will. So in your area, There were 5 available, there are 4 under contract, and there were 19 or 20 that sold in the last 6 months. But these are the numbers I want to look at down here. Can you see those on your
I
screen?
sure can. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So one number in your price range, let me look at the averages. Yeah. So this bottom line is the average, 98.02 sales price to list price. So that tells us that in this market, in today's market, homes are selling for 98% of list price, which on a $250,000 house, a 2% price reduction is only, what would that be? $5,000. Yeah, because 1% is 2,500. So when we're talking about negotiation from 265 down to 250, it's really not happening in this price point. So I want you to remember that when we're looking at houses. Is that something that's surprising to you, or did you know that that's how the market was working right now?
No, I had no idea. That's very surprising, and something we need to know. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. The other thing that's interesting is the days on the market. So in your price point, those homes are selling in 39 days or less. Now remember this, okay? Because when you look up here, I can show you some that sold in 0 days, 7 days, 3 days, 8 days, 7. I would bet money, and then there's ones that are 161 days. I would bet money that the one that sold for 7 days, 0 days, sold for full price or above list price. And then this one over here that took 161 days, the seller probably had to do some price reductions on it to get it to the right price where buyers were willing to make offers. So that's the other thing. Don't be fooled into thinking if the right house comes on the market, we've got 39 days to think about it. Sometimes the right house sells in 0 days. There's a 0 day on there. You see that one?
Yes, I do.
So 0 to 39 days is going to be the average days on the market. What else was up? Is in here. Let me zoom back down. It's also interesting to look at the ones that are pending, because that's a good snapshot of what's happening right this second. We don't know the list price to sales price ratio on those because it hasn't recorded yet, but we do know the days on the market. So it's trending about the same, 44 average days on the market. Here's one that sold in 1, here's one that sold in 17, there's one that took 133 days. So the market is very similar today as it has been in the last 6 months, according to these numbers. So with that in mind, do you have a good idea on offer strategy?
Better than I did when we started this phone call.
Good. The other thing that's important is some of these have closing costs included in them. And when we talked earlier, that was something you wanted to ask the seller to cover. So typically when you do that, you're going to pay the higher price. You're going to roll those into the closing cost and pay a little bit higher value, maybe than the 98%. You might be at a 100% list to sales price ratio on those. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So at this point in the presentation, if everything that I have said, makes sense to you and you're in agreement with what we've talked about, the next step is to sign the buyer agreement, to go over that and to put me to work for you so that we can execute the strategy that we talked about to find you the right house. So let's look at those documents. Do you have any questions? Are you ready to move forward with that?
I'm ready to move forward.
Okay, perfect. So just a couple of things, and we can do it electronically, right? Everything's magic these days. The first thing I want to show you is this is the disclosure of brokerage duties in the state of Oklahoma. So there's a lot of information on here. Some of the most important things are that we are required to keep confidential information confidential, and that applies whether you're the buyer or the seller in the transaction. Of course, we have to be fair and honest and, really account for any monies that you give us, things like that. But most specifically, we can't disclose that a party is willing to pay more or accept less than what's being offered. We can't disclose if you're willing to agree to financing terms that are different than what you asked for, or any motivating factors. So sometimes I'll get a question like, well, why are they moving? Is it a divorce? And those are considered motivating factors, and they're things that would be confidential. Same thing for you guys. We wouldn't tell a seller, hey, they've got to be in a house by the end of the month because their house sold, because that might give them, motivation against you. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. So then moving down, this is the broker service agreement. This is the document that actually says, Jen, we're hiring you, get to work. I think the biggest question on this that people have and that you might be wondering is, how do I get paid? So we're going to cover that. So don't panic.
Okay.
Okay. So the purpose of this is that you want to buy a house. You're acknowledging that you're not working with any other realtors at this point. It is an exclusive agreement, so it's, you know, it's me that you're hiring. And it starts today and it ends 4 months from today. And then here's the compensation section, so we can get to that. I'm going to get paid by the acceptance of the amount shown on offered by the listing broker or seller. So do you remember back when we were on the multiple listing system a minute ago, the realtor database? Over here, yes, there's an amount listed in there that we get paid. The only time that would be different is if you find a for sale by owner or new construction. So make sure if you're doing new construction or a for sale by owner that you contact me first. So let's say you drive by one, it's a by owner, you see the sign and you have the urge to call them. Don't do it. Like snap a little picture of the sign and send it to me and let me call them. Okay?
Okay.
Good. That way I can still represent you. I can write the contract. I can handle all of it for you, start to finish.
Does it cost more to use you if with a builder?
No, no, for sure not. Same thing with the builder. If you walk into a new construction home site, definitely give them my name as your realtor. There aren't any builders in town who are charging more to have a realtor involved. They like us and they want us to bring our clients. So
okay,
yeah,
good to know.
We've got good relationships with them. And then it just goes on down here to say that we won't order any outside services without your permission. So those are things like inspections. Like I won't order the inspections without talking about it with you first. And then that we, of course, may have other buyers looking for similar properties in the area. We're going to follow all fair housing laws, and you're going to get a copy of everything that you signed. So do you have any questions about that?
Nope, I don't think so.
Okay. So when we're done with the call today, I'm going to share that with you. I'll do it right now. So you've got that on your email. You don't have to hop on and sign it right now, but if you have any questions about it, of course, give me a call and we'll work on that together. Okay. So, whoops, I'm clicking on my screen. So that's it. I mean, I would at that point trying to stop sharing my screen, but did I do it?
Yep.
Okay. So, I mean, at that point in the conversation, I would just say, you know, thanks for meeting with me. The next steps after we sign those documents will be that you're going to get the email showing, you know, the houses. As the houses come on the market, you'll get an email every day. Let's plan a time to, you know, check back in with each other to see if there's something that you want to see. And if you find one, you know, right away, obviously text me because we need to hop on it in your 3-car garage, 3-bathroom, under $250 price range. Yeah.
Right.
So that's it.
All right. So how did you come to the place to type in on other that they would contact you first before they made contact with a for sale by owner or a builder?
Absolutely good eye. You saw that.
Yes, I did.
How did I come to that place? I guess just from, you know, from getting burned by from people going, hey, we just went under contract on a new construction house, or the for sale by owner is like, hey, I called her for sale by owner and I have an appointment to go see it on Sunday and I want you to go with me. And by then you're like, what? It's too late, you know, like this for sale by owner is not happy to see me at that point. So I just know that if I put it in there, that it makes me have the conversation with them. You have to have the conversation probably more than once about it, but at least you bring it up and then later on you can go, remember, you know, I said I can help you with these, but you've got to let me call first.
So it's a template. It's your system to have that
actually
reminder.
It exactly is a template. Like in Dotloop, when I pull the buyer agreement over into my loop, I have a pre-filled one that already has that written in there.
That is awesome. Great system. You have made an amazing conversion from live to digital in just a very short period of time. Tell me your thought process. Did you fight against it in the beginning a little bit, or did you go, I don't have time to be thinking about this, I've just got to do it? Tell me your mindset and how you got here.
Well, I mean, like, honestly, I'm still fighting it every day. Like, I have people that, you know, want to see it's so ingrained after 25 years of real estate and like, okay, when can I be there? Let's go. So I had over the weekend 3 different buyers that were wanting to see houses. And so it's just, I have to slow myself down, and it's not natural. It does not come natural, if that's what you're asking.
I am, and it looks natural. It looks like you've been doing the whole time. It
No,
really,
it does not come natural. I want to get in the car and show them the house. That's what I want to do. That said, I don't want to expose anyone. I don't want to expose myself. I live in a house with, my boyfriend had a heart attack a year and a half ago. So, and the thing about just the world right now is that I think we're all in different places on the spectrum of how we're dealing with this virus. And so the only thing I know to do for myself is to just set some standards. Here's my standards here, and offer them out. And it's scary. It's very scary, because I'm scared that when I offer, well, let's do a video instead of an in-person showing, that someone's going to be like, no, I'm going to call around until I can find somebody that'll show it to me. So there's a lot of fear associated with it from that perspective. Not fear of the virus, but fear of like losing my customer, right?
sure.
But that said, I think you have to have, what I have discovered when I go out is we're all on a different spectrum of how we're dealing with it. And so if you don't have standards in place for yourself and you're not communicating them to people, then they're not going to fall in line with that. And when I have been communicating them, people are very happy. They appreciate it. Here's an example. I had to take my car to the dealership to get it worked on the other day. And so I called him Steve dropped it off. I called to pick it up. And I said, okay, so how's this work? Like, are you going to run the keys out to me? And he goes, oh no, you just come inside and we'll check you out. And I know how it works from taking my car there. There's like 20 people in there and they're all talking so I said, are you sure you guys don't have like a protocol? And he said, well, we're all wearing gloves, but I can give you some gloves. I said, I don't need gloves. I just need to not come in your office and have you breathe on me. That's all I need. So like, if he had said, yeah, pull up, honk, and we'll run your keys out, to me, that would have felt so much better. And it's the same. They didn't need to talk to me. They told me on the phone what was going on. I mean, it wasn't a need for that. So I kind of feel like that is what I want to offer my clients. So here's how the process works. Give them some choices. I will meet you at the house if we get to that point for sure. But this is how we're going to handle it. So anyway.
So your systems and your templates and your adaptation, actually, your adaptation came as a result of already having templates and systems in place, right? In other words, you're adapting to
I think that's true. Yeah. I mean, because my system before this was when someone, called to see about a house was not everyone. I mean, I will meet you without a buyer consultation. I'm not saying that it has to be the first step, but
Okay.
It is a step in the process very early on is to, well, let's just come into the office, sit down. We're going to spend about an hour. We're going to go through everything together. We're going to look at all the houses together on the computer. And it's going to save you a bunch of time down the road. So it's the same thing. We're just doing it over the Zoom. And honestly, I don't know, like listing presentations, I'll probably go back to in-house, in person, right? At some point. But this, I don't know why anybody really would want to do it in the office. This is just as easy as them coming in the office and looking at my computer screen on the wall. So I feel like for the buyer, there's just as much value in this, if not more, because they don't have to leave their house.
Yeah, that was my next question. When we're back to normal, whatever that is going to look like,
right,
will mean, would you go back to the way you've been doing it? And you already answered that question because you like the buyer consultation like this.
Yeah, I like this. And I think, putting yourself in your buyer's shoes, like I said at the beginning, I've got my dog locked in the other room or whatever, but they've got to get childcare or deal with their kids at the office. It's just more it has to be more comfortable for them to do it from their house. I'm sure of it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Deal with your kids at the office is a big one because
it's stressful.
And it's very stressful. It's stressful for everybody. So
it's true. Yeah.
It is. It's stressful for you. It's stressful for the kids. So this is awesome. Really, really awesome. Anything else you want to say about the buyer consultation or the market that we're in today and the adaptations, the changes that you've had to make?
Just that, the first step, none of these things that I've done have I like rehearsed a bunch ahead of time. I've done them in person. So I'm literally just saying the same things, but looking at my computer screen instead of looking at them in the office. So it's scary. I will tell you, like, I had to get my setup right, you know, I had to play with my stuff and make my lighting right and that kind of stuff. But everything else, the real estate part of it, you already know. Like, if you're watching this, you already know how to have a conversation with the buyer. The only difference is that you're doing it in your bedroom or wherever, you know, your office. It's the only difference. You know how to do it. You just have to suck it up and do it.
Good, 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 good. Excellent. Outstanding. Thank you, Jennifer Sanders.
You're welcome.
To say to everyone that we have, KWRA has its own YouTube channel, and Tia McKee set that up for us. And so all of the recordings that we've been doing since we have been asked to stay at home, those videos, all of those recordings are going to be posted, or already are posted, on the KWRA YouTube channel. So you can go back and see Jennifer's first virtual presentation. Of course, this will be recorded, so you can come back and watch it again, as well as Jennifer Watkins and all of the other brilliant things that agents have presented for you during this time are on our KWRA YouTube channel. So Tia's going to repost how to subscribe to that today. Thank you all. Jen and I both wish you safe business and lots of prosperity in everything you touch. Have a great day. Talk to you all. Bye.